everybody. I'm back. Welcome to the Nourish Spot Hour. I'm Dawn Kelly, CEO of the Nourish Spot. The Nourish Spot is a healthy food and beverage haven here in Southeast Queens on Guy R. Brewer Boulevard. We bring fresh, organic, and non-organic fruits and vegetables to the neighborhood to allow you to personally customize a smoothie, a natural juice blend, a sandwich wrap, a salad, a Greek yogurt parfait. We even have soup today. So we're open now, 10705 Guy R. Brewer Boulevard. And if you can't walk in, you can contact DoorDash, Uber Eats, Postmates, Seamless, or Grubhub. I'm excited today. Really excited because today I'm joined in the studio, the Caribbean Buzz TV studios. I'm joined by my very good friend, pretty much one of the people that I've known the longest in my life. I really just realized that. I have Roslin Spigner with me. And Roslin is the district leader of Assembly District 33, Part A. I got it. And she has had a storied career. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the fact that she is really involved in the census that is going to kick off in 2020. And so we're going to talk about that because it's important for all of us, especially us African American people, Black people. We need to be counted, and Roslyn will explain why. So let's get started. We're going to start with the fact that we've known each other like 50-some years. We started our relationship at a school called PS 147 in Queens, which is located in Cambria Heights, between 217th and 218th on 115th Avenue, I believe. It's now called Ronald McNair Elementary School. So, hey, Roz, welcome to the Nourish Spot.
Welcome. I love the Nourish Spot.
And welcome to the Nourish Spot Hour.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm very pleased to have you here. And I want to talk first about, let's talk about friendship. Let's talk about the fact that we knew each other as babies. We left elementary school. We both went to different junior high schools, but then we met up again at Martin Van Buren High School, and we both went to those schools together. Let's talk about the fact that Black women really can have friendships that last a long time, contrary to public opinion.
Yes, that is definitely the case. I have adored having a pedigree of friendships where I can actually do those connections and go all the way back to, second grade like us, or, the neighborhood, or dance school. I went to Bernice Johnson Dance School, so I have those relationships. My friendships from Camp Minnesink, my high school friends and junior high school friends. I've actually reconnected with some junior high school friends recently, which was, that was fun too. Seeing those individuals that I haven't seen since 1976 when we left junior high school. And then, of course, college and Delta, and a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And just having all of those girl friendships. Yes, that is a possible thing, and it is a real thing. And I don't know how you can be a girl without having girlfriends.
It's the truth.
Come on.
It's the truth. Yeah. And my thing is, why is friendship so important? As a youngster, I had a sister, but she was born 7 years after I was, so she was always younger than me. And growing up every day wasn't easy, right? We had some struggles. Most families had some struggles. And it was always good to be able to go to school and have people that you could just be yourself, right? They weren't necessarily looking for you to be anything other than you know, warts and all.
Right.
And I remember us and Carolyn and Ella, you know, I have like
Tammy,
yeah,
Troy.
yeah, Troy, Jamont, Troy, if you watching, we talking about
Yes,
you too.
yes.
You know, we had a really like solid clique, and not only were we solid in terms of like our friendship, but we were all quite brilliant too.
That's right. We were in the IGC class. We were the snobs of the school. That's right. We were the little black girl snobs.
Because
Yeah.
we, you know, our parents as well as our teacher at that time, Miss Casson, they really poured into us. And I think it probably was an experiment because, you know, we weren't that far away from segregation, right? Or integration, excuse me.
And some of our students that we caught up with in high school were actually students who were bussed out. So
Right.
we were actually living in you were in Cambridge Heights, I was in Queens Village, but at the time, those who lived in South Jamaica were bussed out to Bayside and Flushing,
Right.
Bayside and Flushing, and we got to stay in our community. And we actually ended up, I don't know if you were in my class when I was in the class with Chick Corea's son.
I do
That
know.
is Korea.
Right.
That is Korea was in our class, and we had. Do you remember a young man named Maury Gittleman?
Yes.
Who was in our class?
Yes.
I think he's
Did
doing
he become
something
like
fabulous.
Yeah, I'm about to say, did he become a principal or something? Like he got he has a good life.
Google him.
Yeah.
He's doing very well.
Yes.
So what I do, and we had McDonald Payne, which
Right.
is Don Payne
Don
now.
Pound, yes.
Yeah, so we had a lot of young people in our class. Ed Lover was in the class he was in the class underneath us.
Okay.
So we had some, 147 was an interesting time.
It really was.
It was an interesting time. And in school, you get to pick your friends. It's not like your parents are choosing your friends for you.
That's true.
Okay?
Right.
Your parents' children's friends are your friends. No, we got to select who we wanted to be friends with.
It's
and that
true.
was a beautiful thing.
It really was.
Mhm.
I can actually visualize us in the auditorium all sitting together and running our mouths, because that's one of the things that I often got chastised for when I was in school, was being social. So I find it really funny and ironic that I spent most of my life being social, because doing PR, I had to talk an awful lot in order to promote people, places, and things for all of the brands that I worked for. So, you know, it's funny that some of the things that teachers and even parents sometimes get on their kids about, those things turn out to be the very things that you get to build your livelihood on.
Exactly. My mother told me, she said, you need to be a professional organizer. And I thought she was making fun of me. I said, what is that? You know, what is a professional organizer? And now I know if I had followed that path, oh my God, where would I be?
But listen, she followed it because she organizes everything and all of us, okay? Anybody that's watching, hey, Facebook Live, anybody that's watching, they know that if we need something done, we contact Roslin, because she knows everybody, she knows who to call, and she knows how to get things done. And I appreciate that as her friend, that when I call upon her, I know that I'm going to get the information that I need in order to take the next step that I need to take. So we are in grade school. We all get picked for this social experiment, if you will. They want to see whether or not they can teach us enough that we can skip the 3rd grade and go off to the 4th grade. And we had a white teacher, and our class I think was predominantly black. I'm not sure if we had any white kids in our class. Okay, okay. Because I forgot to bring the picture. I have the picture. And so we studied a lot, studied hard, and all of us were skipped from the second grade.
Well, I didn't get skipped.
Oh, you didn't go?
No, I didn't
So
get
what
skipped.
happened?
So what happened was when Miss Casson left the second grade.
Okay.
Well, when we were
She left the school, didn't she?
we were in third grade.
Oh,
Miss
right.
Casson,
right.
the first half of the year.
Right.
And then Miss Casson left the school,
And we
we
got Miss
another
Washington.
woman that came in, another teacher, and none of us liked Miss Washington. And I probably got in trouble the most in Miss Washington's class. So I did not skip a grade because of conduct.
Oh, well, see.
Because of conduct.
I got skipped, and I went from the third grade to the fifth grade. And so, but we still didn't lose contact because Roslin and I were friends. So out of school, we were together. Okay, we ran around, we jumped rope together, we did all kind of stuff together. Went to the library together. I always think about the other Roslin. You remember Roslin that lived around the corner from the library? She lived around the corner on 220th Street when the library was on the other side of Linden. I often think about her a lot too. I wonder where she is because those are the two Roslins that I grew up with. You were one and she was the other one. And so, school was fun with Miss Casson. But when Miss Washington came in, she was different, and she
She was younger.
Yeah, younger, and I also think she probably was under a lot of pressure, right?
Probably so.
Because she was one of the first new African American teachers in our school.
I think she was about the only one.
Right. So she was under a lot of pressure to
Well, then we
perform.
ended up getting Miss Phipps later, but yeah, she was probably one of the first black teachers in that school, and it was difficult. And my mother told me, and I got the worst punishment. I won't tell you how the punishment went in my house, but I mean, messing with my mother and Miss Washington, all the letters she sent home for me to give to my mother, and I didn't give them to her. And then my mother said, she called my house one morning and caught my mother. And she said to my mother, she said, I sent letters home, through my Roslin. So I gave them to Roslin to give to you. So my mother said, do you have mail for me? And I said, huh? She said, do you have mail for me? And we come from the era where no parent went up to a teacher and got in her face.
No.
Okay? It was, they dealt with the teacher, but you didn't know anything about it.
That's true.
And they dealt with you, and she said to me, she said, if you have mail, anything with my name on it, you have to give it to me.
That's true.
And I think she made me wear the same clothes one day that week. The same outfit. I was so embarrassed. She was like, you're going to wear that outfit for the rest of the week. That's what you're going to do.
Oh my God.
But she said that Miss Washington, she said Miss Casson wasn't teaching y'all. She said Miss Casson was babying y'all and telling you all about herself and her heritage and this, that, and the other. And when Miss Washington came there to teach you all, you didn't want to pay attention. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. It's funny that we have two different, I guess, experiences because now my mom, and it's right what you said about back in the day. Pretty much parents took teachers' words for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you really didn't have any kind of say. You couldn't defend yourself or anything because the teacher's word was pretty much, blood.
Mm-hmm.
But Miss Casson had already I remember she had already set me up to be skipped.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents had kind of quibbled over it for a little while because I was already young.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that they were quite sure if that was the right thing for me at my young age. But they relented and said that they would do it. But then Miss Washington came in and she tried to stop it.
Right, yeah.
She tried.
mine.
Yeah, she tried to stop
we were
it.
all set up for that track.
Yes. And as a result of her trying to stop it, my mom actually did go up to the school and she did get indignant and I did get skipped.
Well, go ahead, Dora. My mother was like, you stay up behind and go to the next grade. Okay.
So I need to say publicly, thank you, Ms. Joan Kelly, for standing up for your daughter in the 3rd grade to make sure that I got skipped. But let's fast forward. So now, you know, we lose touch a little bit through junior high school, but then we get reacquainted again at Martin Van Buren. And I remember that at Van, one of the things that I was most proud of was doing the talent show. Were you involved with me with the talent show?
The fashion show.
Yeah.
So that was a Troy thing.
Right.
So that was a Troy Jamont thing. Troy loved the fashion show. I didn't enjoy staying after school too much at Van Buren because I was very involved with the leadership program at the Menacing Townhouse. So anything that I had to do with it, you know, where I had to stay after school, that just didn't work for me.
Okay.
But I needed to be around my own people.
Right.
Okay. So Van Buren was a bit much.
It was. Oh, let's tell the truth about Van.
Yes, because you know, I went to a predominantly black school in elementary school and in junior high school. When we got to Van Buren,
it was culture shock.
It really was. I mean, you had white kids on one side of the school, black kids on the other side of the school. And when we were in the classroom, sometimes we, you know, got along or whatever. It wasn't like we didn't get along. We just didn't socialize.
No.
And that was difficult, you know.
And I don't know, did you catch the special? Because see, by that time, I had moved into Laurelton. And we used to catch the special from Hillside Avenue.
Yes.
And I have a memory of one year. And I was 16 when I went to Martin Van Buren. I started in the 9th grade. I was 12 years old. No joke. My birthday comes in October. So I didn't even turn 13 till I had been in Martin Van Buren for a month. And I will never forget this. It was snowing. We pulled into the front of that school on the other side. And those people from that neighborhood, they tried to knock the bus over.
Oh, no.
They were pushing the bus, and when I went home, I had to tell my mother this because there was a big event after this, parents coming up to the school, and then when we got off the bus, they were throwing snowballs that had rocks in them.
Oh, no.
Yes. So we know a little bit about integration. We know a little bit about, you know, black-white relationships because we grew up during that time.
Right.
You know, during the time when civil rights was at its heyday, you know? And so, you know, to me, it's not far and few to understand why you now are in the work that you do. Like, I understand why you're out here pounding the pavement, helping people to get elected, you know, taking care of your community. I understand it, okay? Because we pretty much were on the front line as children, you know? We didn't have the military and guns like some of the kids had to do in some of the southern states, but we had our own issues.
I think primarily the issues were with the teachers at Van Buren. I didn't have too many problems with the students, okay, because the students were, I guess we came in during a time where we were more or less integrated by then. But
and I went in a year before you, that's right. I did go in a year before you, right.
But the teachers, however,
were awful.
Were horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. You had now, I did work for the guidance counselor and the assistant principal. I had a great relationship. I remember Mr. Edwards.
Okay.
And actually I worked in Mr. Edwards' office. So his secretary, all of them, I love them dearly. But the teachers, not all of them, but a majority of them, if you wait, and my mother would always say, wait until after class. And if you have to speak to the teacher, don't do it in front of everyone. Just wait until after the class and speak to them privately. And I would do that. And their responses were so nasty that my mother did have to make a couple of trips up there. I didn't enjoy Van Buren. I'll tell you that. But I enjoyed the children. Right. I enjoyed my peers. Okay. I enjoyed meeting people, and still to this day, I'm friends with a lot of those young people.
Yes,
But,
yes, you are, and you bring me back together with them, because my life has taken me all over the place, and I'm really still getting acclimated back into the Queens community, and so Roslin has been such a gem in terms of connecting the dots, if you will, between our young life and now and today. And I want to say the same thing about the teachers, and I often use any platform I get to talk about one teacher in particular. Now, I loved Mr. Cooney, and I loved Mr. Stogel.
Okay.
Mr. Cooney, I loved him because he showed he cared.
Did you have Mr. Klimas?
No, but I had Mr. Mead.
Okay.
And I don't know. He was my honors teacher. Okay. And I was one of the only African American kids in his class, and Mr. Mead would try to make a fool of me regularly in front of the rest of the class. And so when he told me one day that I would never go to college.
What subject did he teach? Do you remember?
It was writing. It was a writing class. Yeah. That I would never go to college and that I couldn't write. And so when I got that job at York College, right? When I came back from DC and I got that job from York College, I called the school to see if Mr. Mead was still there. And he was. And so I had a nice little talk with Mr. Mead, and the best part of the conversation was, I just need to let you know I get paid to talk, and I get paid to write. And you have a great day.
There you go.
Click. Because teachers need to know, and we're going to get off this subject and get on to the subject that we need to talk about. If there are any teachers on this watching us today, be really careful what you say to children.
Well, that happened to my mother too. So I was prepared for that because my mother was a registered nurse, and she was told that she would never be a nurse. So she always told me that story. So I knew that there are teachers that will say any old thing, and that's just that. I had a teacher when we were in Van Buren. He was in charge of the yearbook. I don't want to say his name because I don't remember it.
Okay.
But he had, I don't remember his name. I don't want to say the wrong name.
Okay.
But he was in charge of the yearbook. And I said I wanted to go out and work on the yearbook because I love stuff like that.
Right.
And when I went and knocked on the door, there was a whole bunch of kids sitting around him, and he was sitting in there. And he says, "Yes, may I help you?" I said, "Is this the yearbook room? I'd like to work on the yearbook." He said, for the senior yearbook. He said, "Yeah, but we have enough people already." And I said, "Oh, okay." And I walked out, and it was like, they all looked at me like, "How dare you come in this room?" So I didn't waste any energy dealing with Van Buren. And going back to the fashion show, my senior year, you were gone by then. Troy was running the fashion show then, and I was the MC for the fashion show.
Oh, that's great. Okay, good.
Yes, so,
good.
But that was about it.
Yeah, that was my big hurrah at Martin Van Buren was the fashion show, and I actually still have till this day. I have the program.
You have pictures?
I just have the program.
Okay.
In my yearbook.
Some pictures.
Really?
I have some pictures. I'll show them.
Okay, yeah, in my yearbook. Because I still have my yearbook. I have those pictures there, and it makes me really proud that even at that young age that we figured out how to do stuff other than just go to school, work, and learn. You're watching the Nourish Spot Hour. I'm doing Kelly, CEO of the Nourish Spot. The Nourish Spot Hour is a program where we bring mostly female entrepreneurs and community leaders into the studio to talk about what's going on in the Southeast Queens community and beyond. Today, I have the luxury of having one of my very good friends, Roslin Spigner, here. She is the district leader for Assembly District 33, Part A, here in Queens. And I brought Roslin here today to talk about the census. The census is upcoming in 2020. This is where the government counts all of us. in order to do certain things. And Roslyn can be much more specific than I can. So Roslyn, talk to us. What's going on? When does the census start? What do people need to know? The floor is yours.
Okay, so Census Day is April 1st,
Okay.
and Census Day has been April 1st for a very long time.
Okay.
So the census is in the Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, that we have to all be counted. And it's about fair representation in Washington. It's also about money in each district, about $675 million. It's also about redistricting. It's also about taking part in your civic duty. So that's what the census is all about. We need everyone counted. And so I live, and most African Americans live in what we call hardest to count districts, which means that a lot of us don't like to be counted. And historically wise, there is a reason for that. You know, we don't like to answer a lot of questions. But the fun thing about it is, for me, I love genealogy. So I love looking at the old census, looking for my family members. And when I can't find them, I get upset. So one day I would love for my family to be able to look back and see that I took part in the census, you know, my entire life. So why is it important for us to participate in the census? I just gave you about the representation and the monies that come to your communities and so on and so forth. And I say that it is so important for us to turn those responses in. This year it's a little different because now you can call your responses in.
Wow, okay.
You can get on the phone and you can call your responses in.
Okay.
They're going to ask you your name, they're going to ask you for your address, your birthday, and they're going to ask you who lives in the house, and they're going to ask you for those names. It's not about, the census is not about finding people who are not citizens of the country, because we're not counting that. We're counting people. We're counting people who live here in our districts.
And do you have to give your social security number?
You do not give your social security number at all.
Okay.
Okay? So we're not trying to determine who's a citizen or not.
Okay.
Although Donald Trump did try to push that issue, but it's unconstitutional, so he was not able to do that.
Okay.
So we're just trying to get the names of everyone who lives in the country, and so that we can properly count. For instance, if our count comes up, I'm just going to give little fictitious numbers.
Okay.
If our count comes up, say for instance, 25,000 people, but really 75,000 people live in our district, then we are only providing funding for 25,000 when 75,000 people live here. And that could affect everything, you know, housing, infrastructure,
like
just
parks, all of that, right?
Right, and just going over the bridges, you know, every day,
right.
the weight of the cars.
Oh, right. So like when those architects and engineers are figuring stuff out, they need to know that stuff.
Exactly.
Oh, you're right.
Exactly. Okay, so just stuff like that. So my organization, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated Queens Alumni, we are a recipient of the Queensborough President's grant. Okay. We are on the Complete Census Count Committee, and we are a recipient. There were 14 recipients, and we are one of the 14th. So thank you, Queensborough President Katz, and your team.
What does that mean? Tell me what that means when you say that there were 14 grant recipients. What does that mean for your organization and the other organizations that were chosen?
So we will get a monetary. Basically, we have to spend the money up front first, and it will be reimbursed.
Okay.
So we received a grant. Our grant was for $4,900.
Okay.
And so we will have to plan activities around the census. We haven't decided exactly how we're going to spend it, but we're going to spend it very, very smart.
Okay.
And some of the things that we can do is that we can basically host phone banks.
Oh, okay.
We will be doing tabling events. and we'll use the money towards whatever it is that we need to promote what it is that we're doing. But it does help us to do whatever it is that we need to do. We've already been working in the community. So what we did, we joined 2 complete census count committees.
Okay.
The complete census count committees are ways that you can get information, okay? So that you have people that come in and they feed you the information. You find out about funding, for one.
Okay.
And then, as a matter of fact, my sorors from East Kings County Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta they received a grant of $25,000.
Wow,
okay,
go girls!
From the city of New York.
Okay.
That's right. So shout out to them. And I think Alan and me just received a grant.
Okay.
So we're very happy for those. Those in our communities that are able to help in our hardest to count populations.
Why? So let me ask a question. I know one of the reasons are, Black people are very private because, last time counts mean a lot of different things to a lot of different sectors of Black people, right? So I fill out the census because I think it's important, right? But, give me like 3 reasons that, say, some 18-year-old needs to fill out the census, or say a elderly person. Like, why should they fill out the census? Make it something that they can touch and feel.
Okay, so basically, the census will be filled out by the head of household. Okay. A college student, it will be filled out on their campus.
Okay.
So why would you want to do it? Because it's about representation. It's about monies. It's about using the tax. Everyone pays taxes, right?
Yeah.
So you want
You're
your
supposed
taxes.
to. Everybody got 45.
Right.
Go ahead.
So you want the taxes that you pay to come back and benefit you. So how are the taxes going to benefit you if they don't know you exist? Okay, so that's one way.
So it affects policing too, right?
Yes, policing. Okay. How many police?
Fire department.
Okay. Education.
Okay. Oh, schools, right?
Education.
Okay.
The books.
Okay.
I mean, my girl. I don't have children, but my friends that have children, their books are shared. Like they have to use the book on Monday and take the book back to school, so somebody else can use the book on Tuesday. Now that's not how a child should have to. No. Those books should be able to become your books.
Right.
Okay? You should be able to own those books or turn them back in at the end of the year for the next group. But should I have to share a work? A workbook should be yours.
It's true.
And I'm talking about he had, these children, I don't know if your children had to share workbooks.
Right, I don't remember them having to do that, but I would say this too. My kids went to school in our community in Southeast Queens, but I quickly pulled them out because I didn't like the disparity.
Right, and why should we, and that's another thing, we should be wanting to be counted so that we can have the same resources in our community that are in other communities. I shouldn't have to live in a community and have my child go to school in another community because I feel that that school is not going to provide my child with the best education. I shouldn't feel that I have to live in a community, but my community will not be policed with the love and care that is policed in another community. Sure. And that's what I'm talking about. It's just having the same type of opportunities. We pay just as much taxes as anybody else. If it's slightly lower or less, we pay a lot of money in New York to live here.
Yes, we do.
Okay? So to have to be subjected to that, just based on the fact that, you don't want to fill out the census, but you want to live here. Small businesses, you are a business owner.
Yes.
Okay? You are a business owner. That affects you as well.
That's true.
Okay?
That's true.
Being counted in the census affects you as well. How many dollars can you get?
That's true.
Okay?
Right.
Because you can now say, well, I have XYZ people living in my community that come to my store or who want to come to my store.
Right.
And, I need to have police protection. I need to have
better lighting,
street lighting.
Yes.
I need to have
street
signage.
Parking and signage. Yes.
Okay, not faded signs like we have all over our borough. Why do we not go to borough, but over our district? Why do we have faded street signs?
That's true.
Things like that. As far as financial aid.
Okay.
All of the funds that we're going to be able to get from our congressman in Washington, all that he can provide for us is based on the census. And it's a possibility that we might even lose a seat or two.
If we don't fill out the
If we
census.
don't fill it out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
We might lose a seat or two if we do not fill out the census.
All right.
That's representation. We want more representation in
We
Iowa and Nebraska
Yes.
and South Dakota than we have in New York.
Yeah, we need it. So I'm asking everyone that's watching today, it's important what Roslin has said to you about the census. When you receive your packet in the mail, please respond. Don't delay.
And I need volunteers.
Oh.
So if you want to volunteer and help me with census outreach, I need people to help me make phone calls. I need people to help me plan parties and events and networking. And we're going to make it so much fun that everyone will want to fill out the census.
So how do people get in touch with you?
Okay, I'll give you my phone number.
Tell it.
My phone number is 718-290-4725.
Say that one more time.
718-290-4725. And you can email me at Roslin, ROSLIN .Spigner, SPIGNER @gmail.com. Call me, reach out to me on Facebook if you're my friend, if you're Dawn's friend, reach out to me and let me know that you want to volunteer and help us out. Let's get everybody counted.
Yes, let's get everybody counted. You're watching the Nourish Spot Hour on Caribbean Buzz TV. I'm Dawn Kelly, CEO. The Nourish Spot is a healthy food and beverage haven here in Southeast Queens, located at 10705 Guy Arbor Boulevard. And the store is open now, awaiting your order for a personalized smoothie or sandwich wrap or Greek yogurt parfait. And you know what? It's flu season. So instead of going to the doctor to get a shot or some antibiotics, come to the Nourish Spot and allow us to make up a natural antibiotic for you using some lemon and some ginger and some cayenne pepper and a couple of other little things that will get that cold out of you quickly and easily, and it won't cost you as much as those pharmaceuticals and that medicine that the doctors will be trying to give you. So come on out to the Nourish Spot, and if you can't walk in, contact Uber Eats, DoorDash, Postmates, Seamless, or Grubhub, and they will deliver your order right to you. So let's get back to the census, but also I want to talk too about your leadership of the Douglas King Democratic Club, right? So talk to us about that and how are they going to be involved in the census as well?
Okay, well, so the census is basically a nonpartisan issue.
Okay.
So, but not to say that our elected officials and our political clubs cannot be involved. They may not be able to get funding for it, but they should be involved. Why? Because yes, it is also it's a concern of everyone who lives in the community. So we need the clergy involved. We need the clergy. We need nursing homes. We need those individuals who are residing in nursing homes to be counted. We need those who are residing in at colleges and universities, even those who no longer live at home, but they're commuting, but they live off campus.
Okay.
We want to make sure that those individuals get counted as well. So Douglas King Regular Democratic Club, I'm an executive leader for that club. Dawn is a member of my club.
Yes.
And that is that I basically am. That is a responsibility of a district leader to hold political meetings in a particular district. And I'm having fun with it. It is something that's new for me, but leadership is not.
Right.
I am also a retired correction officer. I worked for the Department of Corrections for 20 years. I've been retired 10 years. And So during that time, I also had an opportunity to learn and grow and learn myself and learn about my strengths and my weaknesses, working for the department in law enforcement, which is a career that I never thought I would ever be a part of. But it was a career that humbled me, because I saw some things that I probably would have never ever even thought of seeing. And those are people who basically have, a lot of people who have really hit rock bottom in their lives based on their choices, life choices. The way that you choose your path can really determine your outcome,
It's the truth.
good or bad.
It's true. I talk to my children, and I talk to the young people that work in the Nourish spot about choices all the time, because oftentimes as an entrepreneur or as a leader in the community or as somebody that other people see and decide that they're doing good or doing well, they think that maybe you may think you're better than them. But what I tell my kids, and I tell the kids that work with us, it's not about that. What it's about is the choices that you make. And the choices that you make will give you good outcomes, better outcomes, or awful ones. So you're absolutely right. Life is all about choices and what comes from those choices.
I actually came across people that I knew, that I grew up with, and it was very sad to see them there. And it was basically, there's not much I could do for them there, right. So what I did, when I got off of work, I just threw myself into my sorority, and I mentored kids. I ran a program in my sorority called Teen Lift.
Okay.
And I was the chair of that Teen Lift committee for about 5 to 6 years.
Wow, okay.
And we did college, we had college preparation workshops. I threw myself into that. College preparation workshops. I mentored a lot of children. Some of them might be on Facebook watching. My kids, they're now in their 40s, okay. And they're mommies and daddies now. But we took them on college tours. Mm-hmm. So I had the opportunity, even though I did not attend an HBCU, I visited maybe about 40 HBCUs.
That means you've been to more than I did.
We were up and down the road, up and down. I even I didn't take them, but I visited the colleges in the Virgin Islands, which are considered HBCUs as well.
Yes.
And, we give money, and we attend the UNCF breakfast annually. So I am a big supporter of historically Black colleges and universities. And everyone at work, when I worked on Rikers Island, everybody knew me as the college tour lady.
Okay.
Basically, that experience, like I said, humbled me, because I'm now around people who, some to no fault of their own, ended up in the situation that they're in, and some, yes, they made bad choices. And some of them just couldn't get out. Those who had severe drug problems just had difficulty kind of getting out of that situation. So I worked on Rikers Island for 10 years at the Roslin Spigner Center, and then I worked another 10 years at the Elmhurst Hospital Prison Ward. And then when I came out of that, I ended up working for President Obama.
I was just getting ready to ask about that. You took the words right out of my mouth. So I just wanted to say, also, Roslin, I saw pictures of her with President Obama. And I'll tell you, I think I've been in the same room as the President Obama, but I never met him personally. I met Michelle personally, and she is just gorgeous and beautiful and nice.
She is.
But I never had the opportunity to meet President Obama. I had the chance to meet Bush. I had the second one. I had the chance to meet President Clinton because when I worked for AARP, we often got to interact with the White House, and so I had those opportunities. But that's the one president that I just haven't been able to meet. Tell us about that. How was that?
So I've only been in the room with President Obama, I think about 5 times, which was so exciting.
5 times? That's like only.
I worked on his campaign.
Okay.
So I started out as a fellow in New York. It was a small group of us, and this was his. I did some work on the 2008 campaign, but I wasn't retired at the time.
Okay.
And then after that, I actually worked on the 2012. So I started in 2011 as a fellow in New York.
Okay.
And we had a nice little group of people. And New York wouldn't hire me.
Wow.
Okay? After I organized Queens for them, they did not hire me. I tried to speak to the regional director personally, and she just didn't want to tell me why. You know, she didn't want to hire me. So I made one phone call. I was a delegate.
Okay.
And I went on, thanks to Rob Diamond, who I loved, who was the state director at the time. I was a delegate and went to North Carolina, and I came back. I made one phone call, and they asked me, could I get to Ohio?
Okay.
And I said, when? And they said, now. And they said, you know, we'll find something for you.
Okay.
And I went out to Columbus. I've been to Columbus, Ohio once. But I went to Columbus, Ohio, and one of my sorority sisters had a sister-in-law that let me stay with her. And Blaine and I packed up and went.
Okay.
And we went out there, and the team that I was assigned to it was all sort of kind of like the hard to count.
Okay.
These were undecided voters.
Okay.
So it was something like the census.
Okay.
These were undecided voters that would not commit to Obama or anyone.
Okay.
So I went to their houses over and over and over and got them to commit. So it was a lot of persuasive talking.
That's all that stuff you learned in grade school.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was persuasive door knocking. And I did that so many, over and over until I got people to commit. And it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
And when he won, I was in Ohio, and I screamed and I cried. And I was on the phone with like 3 of my friends at the same time. 2 were on 2-way, 1-way, and so we were like on 4-way or 5-way. And then I cried because I wasn't in New York, because I started out in New York.
Right.
And I felt like I wasn't with my people, my team, even though I had fun in Ohio.
Right.
And I got to know that team. But I just felt like my New York team, I wasn't with them.
Oh.
And I just cried. And then the next day I told Blaine, I said, let's go.
Okay.
And we just packed up and left and came back to New York. And that was during Hurricane Sandy, so we didn't have any lights.
Oh.
Snow was everywhere.
Oh my God.
I mean, it looked like a war zone.
It sure did.
Right.
In New York,
So
it sure did.
I missed Hurricane Sandy because I was in Ohio.
Okay.
But, and then I was a part of Organizing for Action, which was the president's 501c4.
Okay.
Okay. Basically, it was an issue action campaign that we basically were involved fighting for all of the things that President Obama stood for and wanted during his second term. So we were a part of that. And then I ended up working in Connecticut.
Okay.
I went to work with Governor Malloy. I watched Governor Malloy cry when those babies were shot up in Connecticut. And, someone said, hey, do you want to go to Connecticut? I said, when? And I got so lucky I got assigned to Stamford, which is only 40 minutes from New York, so I commuted back and forth. And I was in Stamford, Connecticut for 6 months, and we helped him win. And so
you like this political stuff?
I love politics. I do. I love it. I really love winning.
Well,
I love to win.
Who doesn't love winning?
Win.
Yeah, me too.
But you can't just win. You have to work to win.
That's true.
Okay, so I love winning. I love competition, and I love to win. And anybody that knows me, they know that about me.
Yes.
They know that about me.
It's true. It's true.
So, And if I don't win, I'm not a sore loser.
Okay.
You know, I just dust myself off and just go at it again. Because you're not going to win all the time.
That's true.
You know, you're not going to win all the time, but it doesn't make you a loser.
That's right.
You're a winner every time you step out there.
Every time you try.
Every time you try.
Because if you don't win, you learn.
That's right.
This is
That's
true.
right. And I'm competitive. You know, I see some of my Bernice Johnson people on here. Y'all know from back in the day, we were competitive when we were dancing. Okay?
See,
got out there.
I didn't go to Bernice Johnson. But I also want to say to you, I want to publicly thank you too, because when I opened the Nourish spot in August of 2017, Roslin was one of the people that was there to congratulate us and to encourage us on. And the first small business Saturday for us was November, I guess it was the 29th or 30th of 2017.
Saturday after Thanksgiving.
And Roslyn was accompanied by her sorors. I believe that there were about 70 women that converged upon the Nourish spot that day in 2017. And it was one of the biggest sales days that I had since I opened in August in 2017. And I want to publicly thank you for that day, but I also want to publicly thank the Queens Alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta for continually supporting us on Small Business Saturday every year. So 2017, 2018, and just this past November 2019, you all converged upon the Nourish spot and made my whole staff smile. Like, we still are talking about the visit today, and I actually still have the map of your small business crawl on my door. I guess
I saw it when I was at the store yesterday.
Yeah, when it falls off, it falls off. I'm not going to take it down because I am deeply appreciative of the sorority's commitment to the community and service to the community. And you know what happened that day? They didn't just support me, even though they showed up and they came into the store and supported the Nourish spot. There's a new business not too far from me called City Treasures. It's a thrift store. And the guy, Chris, he usually has really nice stuff in there. And so the ladies left me and they went to Chris before they went to the next stop. So he benefited from the fact that they came on the block. And he comes into the store every day and says, I just want to say thank you for being here, because if you weren't here, they wouldn't have came in my store. He said, and this is what he said, I wasn't ready. But he was happy.
And he will be next time.
Yes. And not only that day did the Deltas come on Small Business Saturday, but then we got another group, and I know it's because of what you all done, and I've been promoting it, and you guys promoted. We also had a young new group, Facebook group, called the Black Resource Network, and Marls, M-A-R-L-S. I want to publicly thank them as well for showing up on Saturday, November 30th, which is Shop Small Saturday. It's a campaign that was originated by American Express 10 years ago. I'm lucky that, it's still going on. And the Nourish spot is the recipient of visits from Delta Sigma Theta as well as the Black Resource Group. I want to tell Aaliyah Abraham, Diana Rose, and the rest of the members, Maxine, I want to say to all of you from the bottom of my heart, and I know my children would say the same if they were here with me, we deeply appreciate the generosity of your time, and thanks for seeing us.
And Dawn caters, y'all. She caters, so she caters a lot for Douglas King.
Yes.
Yes, she does. So I just want you to know that I love you. I love anybody who has ambition. okay? Has ambition, and not ambition, conceited ambition, but ambition to bring others on, okay? Not only are you ambitious for yourself, but you are ambitious for others. Like, you are putting yourself out there to give others an opportunity, and I love that about you.
Thank you.
You know, because that's what we need more of. We don't need anybody to tear anybody down. And if there's something that you see in a person that you can help them with, then step to them and help them with it. Help uplift your community.
Yes.
Help uplift your sisters and brothers. Okay?
Yes, and Roslin, you do that too. Listen, I'm gonna say she's saying that about me, but I thank her from the bottom of my heart for also doing the same thing. You know, when I'm trying to help somebody and I may not know where I can get the help from, I pick up the phone and I call her and I'm like, I have this issue, this young man is trying to do this, or this person is trying to do this, who do you think I can call? So, and then also, I wanted to get somebody honored because I believe that she deserved it. Cynthia Horner, I thought that she deserved it because she was the architect behind Right On magazine. Right. And I reached out to Roslin because
Troy's on now.
Hi, Troy. Hi. And so Roslin is on a lot of committees. Like she is not telling you everything. She's on a lot of committees in Queens. I mean, she's a woman to know. And so I contacted her because she was on the committee, the Kwanzaa committee with
it's the African American Heritage Committee for the Borough President.
Yes.
For the Borough President.
Yes, and so I reached out to her and explained to her, what I felt about Cynthia and her work. And Roslin worked closely with me to make sure that I sent in the nomination to the right places, and Cynthia was honored. So I want to also say thank you for being who you are. Thank you for being a champion of the Southeast Queens community and the people in the community. Thank you for caring about politics and, caring about civics, right?
Yes.
Because I realize that civics is all about duty.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some people that just figure out how to kind of make themselves, how to go to the top and bring us all along. And you've been that person for me, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people that say that you've been that person for them. So I applaud you, and I want you to keep it up, okay? And I thank you. You're watching the Nourish Spot Hour. I'm Dawn Kelly, CEO of the Nourish Spot. Amina and Sebastian are there in the store waiting for you now. You can walk in at 10705 Guy R. Brewer Boulevard. We are open until 7 p.m. today. You can call. The number is 718-526-2099. Or you can contact us through Uber Eats, DoorDash, Postmates, Grubhub, or Seamless. And yes, I'm going to make one more shameless plug before we close the hour out. We do cater. It's holiday time. So if you're having a holiday breakfast, lunch, supper, contact us. We can put together a wonderful array of healthy goodness for you and your colleagues or your friends. So that the holiday doesn't have to leave you bloated and unhealthy. We can provide you with options that will make you and your insides feel good. So come to the Nourish Spot and allow us to nourish you.
That is going to be my New Year's resolution. Make sure I start going back to the Nourish Spot like 3 times a week because I was keeping that weight off. But my cousin made this lasagna that was just, she should have a lasagna.
Alicia?
Yes!
Hey, Alicia, I know you're watching.
That lasagna was so fierce. I tell you, when I stepped on the scale today, I screamed. So there's one more piece in my refrigerator, and then I'll be back. I can come this week, though.
I'm about to say, come get your salad. And listen, I will give anybody that asks for the Roslin special salad this week. between Saturday, December 7th, to next Saturday, I think that's the 15th, I will give you 10% off if you ask for Roslin Special Salad. Okay?
That's right.
Because we keep a book in the store, and if you are a customer that's consistent, we keep your order in the book, and we make it for you immediately. So have a wonderful, wonderful week. I hope all your dreams come true. I can't believe that 2020 is on the horizon. Set your intentions to make it a wonderful year, and I hope you have a blessed week. Until we see you again, remember, you are what you put into yourself. Thanks, Roslyn.
Thank you, Dawn. Mwah.